Hey guys, Steve on here. Today I am showing you guys two fixed blades that I finally finished up. This is the first fixed blade I ever made. I made it with files and a grinder. You can see that it's rusty there. The handle's patinaing because it's carbon steel. Handles are too thick. The design's kind of poor. The sheath on this guy, the retention is held at the wrong spot and is very mediocre. That's where I'm coming from. And I think that these guys are a little bit better. So these guys took me about 3 months to finish. Not solid working. I was on and off. That's why it took so long. And I also sent the blades out to Peter's Heat Treat. Here's the patch right here. To get them heat treated. So I think right now I'm going to roll in a couple pictures from the build process, and then in a little bit I'll do a grand reveal. Alright, we're back from the little slideshow. Now it's time to see the finished product. Here's the first one. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! So, this guy is made out of N690 stainless steel. This sheath is nothing fancy. I bought this. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm not into leatherworking yet, so that was something to tide over. But this is a two-tone blade with this is just a rough, the bar stock finish that's then been acid dipped. And the flats are a machine satin. They're pretty aggressive satin, so probably around 50 to 80 grit, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly. And for this one, the handle is mahogany of some sort. I'm not sure the exact species of mahogany, but it's a hardwood, and it machined up very nicely and took a nice polish and was hard. So you can see the back there, beautifully bookmarked there, going into the center. Just the grain on this wood is absolutely awesome. This knife I made for my dad, so he actually picked out the wood for this, and I made the handles up for him. As you can see there, it's got a 2 stainless steel pin construction with a lanyard tube in there. I just have this leather fob on here that'll wear in with use. Or he might take it off. It's up to him. But this one I did not do a sharpening choil on. I left it a high saber grind, I would call this grind. Not the absolute cleanest grind lines, but I'm still a beginner, and I'm very happy with how these turned out. So as far as finish goes for this wood, I did a hand sand up to about 1,000 grit, I think. And then I did several coats of tongue oil finish, I believe, following the instructions on that. These handles are epoxied on here. You can't take them off or anything. And that's pretty much it. Both of these blades were heat treated to 61 HRC. By Peter's Heat Treat. Basically, as you guys saw, I ground them down to about a penny's thickness behind the edge, sent them into them, had them heat treated, and then when they got back, I ground them while heat treated, which was a very slow and arduous process. But I think they turned out absolutely awesome. This sheath There's nothing fancy. It's just a standard sheath that I bought from a local store, and it fits well. It's good, got decent retention. It's really nothing fancy, but I think the leather grain on there matches the wood grain pretty cool, so, or pretty well. So I'll put this guy out here for now. As far as length goes, these guys started at the same size, about 8-inch overall, and it's like 4-inch blade maybe. Yeah, just about a 4-inch blade. So they started exactly the same template, and I actually adjusted this second one a little bit, just to how I wanted it. So now the grand reveal for number 2. This one is a very different looking blade. This one is a departure from the sort of traditional setup of this one. This one's for me. This one's my blade, and it's a little different. It's got a nice Kydex sheath here. This is one of my better Kydex. I put my actual tech lock on here since it wasn't being used in anything else, and since this is a nice medium-sized fixed blade. Very clean work. The spacing all worked out for the tubes there through the Kydex, the grommets. And I actually made 2 sheaths. The first one didn't work out, and this one worked out perfectly. It's got a nice line following how I want it. And it's got a nice little thumb ramp to release the blade. So, take it out. Perfect retention, just how I want it. And here it is. Here's my version out of the 2 blanks that I got. Also N690 to 60 HRC, I think. And this one's got removable carbon fiber handles. Look at that. Awesome carbon fiber there. Here, let me wipe it off real quick for you. Alright, here we go. Awesome shred carbon fiber there. Really cool looking grain. I think I took this to 320 grit maybe. One of the biggest mistakes for carbon fiber that I've heard is taking your grit too high, and it just gets too polished and you lose some of the contrast. So this is actually a pretty rough carbon fiber finish. Really the carbon fiber was a pain in the neck to work with. Basically for 2 days after I ground it and sanded it, I had little bits of carbon fiber embedded in my arm, itching and scratching and being a pain. So they don't kid when they say carbon fiber is a pain to work with. I'm not looking forward to, having to mill it again, if I ever do. But yeah, this one worked out very nicely. The lanyard tube I just left as a straight hole through. I might chamfer it later. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, it works really well. These handle scales are removable. So it has, you guys probably saw in the pictures, it's got barrel spacers and then a screw threads in from each side. And this one's got really nice reveal all the way around each one of the screws. The hardware that I'd previously used for removable handle scales just did not work well. It was imprecise and didn't have enough thread on it and wound up fighting me tooth and nail the entire time I was trying to make those blades, and they turned out mediocre at best, just from a hardware standpoint. So this one, I'm really happy with how it turned out. As you guys can see, I changed the profile of this one a little bit. The other one, I guess I'll show you a comparison here. So the other one has that guard that's finished, and on this one I cut the choil into the blade, so you actually have a sharpened edge all the way up to where your fingers are, which also doubles as a sharpening choil. So that's really cool. I'll show you. As far as length goes, same deal. It's an 1/8 inch or an 8-inch blade with a just under 4-inch blade, since I took that choil out. Pretty much I didn't sacrifice any of the edge. So on the flats here, you can see same deal. I just acid dipped the bar stock, and then it did a lower machine. I'd say this is like a saber ground, more of a saber grind than the other one. I was trying to aim for the center of the screws there for the finish. There you go, you can see. The grind lines I'm very happy with, turned out really nice. Points nice and centered and everything. One thing that I ran into some trouble with is, see this spot here, how there's sort of a ring there. When I sent these in to get heat treated, I believe there was some dark marks here where I believe they were straightening the blades. They'd heat them up at the spine in order to keep them straight. And I think that translated into my final finish, which is a little bit frustrating that shows through the acid. I did it 2 or 3 times trying to get that to disappear with no luck, so I just let it be, and am going to use and enjoy this how it is. But that's just something I'm going to need to figure out in the future, is how to get rid of that. I tried sanding it off, that didn't really work, and I tried steel wool after the fact, but it'll just have to be what it is. So this one is very sharp. I'm very happy with how the edge turned out. Both of these I sharpened on my KME. I took them from their finished grinding all the way down to the final bevel, which took, I think, 5 hours of grinding for this one, and I'm not sure about how long for this one. But they're both wickedly sharp, and I'm very happy with them. As far as around the handle scales on this one, since this one has removable handle scales, I was able to acid dip all the way around. So you have that acid spine that carries all the way around on this one, which I think is cool. So, and also as far as the handle to grind transition, I tried to line up that angle perfectly, just to follow those lines. So in my hands, like I said, I made this for my hand. Grip is perfect, no forward and back motion, perfect for like push cuts, thumb on the back of the spine there for saber grip, cutting, whatnot. I think you probably could do some chopping with this if you so chose. But this guy, I'm really happy with, just how the design turned out. I've been pretty much winging it on my blade designs so far, taking loose, insight from other people's designs, but this one I think really worked out well, and I'm really excited how the final product turned out for this one. I'm probably gonna, keep tweaking it and whatnot. Maybe I'll try to refinish the blade, but who knows? This is where it's at right now. I'll probably throw a lanyard on eventually, but there she be. So these are I'm going to call these probably medium duty utility knives. They're a little bigger than most of the other knives that I've made, and that comes from me only being able to heat treat very small knives in my heat treating oven, or my little kiln that I have set up. So this one I wasn't super worried about doing something bigger, and I'm really happy with the size of these guys. Very nice and comfortable in the hand, not too thin. These guys don't roll or anything, and they're good in a variety of grips for me. So I'm really happy with how this guy turned out. So if you guys like this video, throw me a like and a comment. Love to see if you guys have been working on anything. If you guys have been making any fixed blades or anything, or if there's a type of fixed blade maybe I should make next. I think very soon I'm going to try to make a knife out of titanium, which is going to have its own set of trials and tribulations, I'm sure. But like I said, I'm very slow at this. This is in my free time, and this is not something that gets done overnight, so we'll see what I get done in the time that I have. So I hope you guys liked the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.